Welcome to our metal journey. I'm Brad.
I'm Alona.
We like to discuss the lyrics in detail, so make sure you hang around for our discussion at the end. We have a new Discord server, so you can find the link to that in the description below, and we've also started a Twitter page, so you can get that handle also in the description below. And today we are doing Wintersun, Sons of Winter and Stars. Quite a mouthful. This is a request from our patron Olav Walldal, and also amongst others, it's been quite a widely requested video. But Cashew Shalom, KH, Opopikik, Bibid,
Oh wow.
and the Banana 27. Much easier to say. Those are just a few, but there were many requests for this song.
I did see a few in the comments.
And I'm assuming it's because the drummer, I don't know how to say his name, but Kai Haito, something like that, is the drummer for Nightwish. So
okay.
That's the connection.
He plays for two bands at once?
Yeah, it's quite common
Really?
that musicians will have like side bands and stuff. Actually, I think someone said that someone else in the band started the band as a side project to their first band of NC Ferrum. No, you wouldn't know NC Ferrum, but it's another Scandinavian band that I actually saw. They came to South Africa and played in this tiny little venue that, like, I'm sure breached all kinds of health regulations to squeeze that many people inside. Like, you couldn't move.
You had like a weird choice of bands that you listened to in South Africa.
Yeah, well, that was one of the first like metal bands or overseas metal bands that ever even came, at least in like my generation.
Okay.
But anyway, back to Wintersun.
Let's hear it.
Let's see what we've got. I haven't heard them. I don't know the song, and obviously I know you haven't either.
I don't.
And I think we're going to be getting some more power metal. But let's see. I haven't got volume yet either. Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Cool font.
I'm confused how many people are singing. Because there's definitely some some female vocal in the back, like
yes, operatic kind of.
Yeah, which is not present here.
No, unless one of them is secretly a woman.
I very much doubt so. And then there is also a choir in the back, which also I don't see here.
Yeah,
and then there are several people singing, so I suppose there were those two guitar players that are singing, but it feels like there are more voices than what I see.
Yeah, clearly there's this main guy is obviously singing most of the time.
I did get it.
It seemed like there was I think 2 other people joined in for backing vocals when it was like a rah. I don't know if it was the rise or the like joined in for like the chant.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm assuming the choir and female vocals were just like backtrack, like sample, like for atmosphere. And there was some sort of, you know, atmospheric samples going on in the background as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was vocally. I like his tone. It's a little more old school. Like
how do you know? How do you say it? What does it mean, old school?
It feels just like, for me, like listening to the Scandinavian metal of, I don't know, the 2000s or even some of the 90s, but probably the 2000s. They've just got this like way of doing it that you can still like hear the words that they're saying, like it's still audible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got this almost like evil creature kind of tone to it,
Okay.
almost like a golem or something, you know.
Okay, fine. And the song is more, so it's not 2000s. It's.
I think I saw somewhere around 2012, something like that.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But I mean, just knowing the NC Ferrum guy would have been from like the earlier 2000s probably.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm really liking this style of, I don't know if it is power metal or folk metal or some mix of different subgenres, but this is very much more my style compared to you know, some of the other power metal that we've done recently. Where
So it is still power metal?
I think so. I mean,
I thought it was much too complicated for power metal.
Maybe
from what you explained to me, power metal should be easy.
It's
and accessible. But here, I mean, all the drumming, that was super complicated and very, very fast.
Yeah, to be honest, I could be way off on the subgenre. I mean, please let me know. That was just like my blind expectation going in. Someone had said it would be more power metal, so that's sort of what I was expecting, but I could be wrong.
And I think at some point, well, I might be wrong, that all that fast drumming was also joined by guitar at the very fast pace.
So the point I was trying to get to there is that I really like how technical the drumming is here. The guitar is much more impressive. It's not just that simple sing-along. It's got strong fantasy elements, I think. Well, we'll get in. I'm not actually really sure what the words mean just yet. But at least the mood it's creating, I'm still getting some of that folk feel and that like fantasy jovialness, but it's underpinned by this like very, very complicated and technical instrumentals. Okay.
I would say that it's more of like this epic sound.
Yeah.
Which it's so epic is much more like massive in volume, and also it's supported by all this technical details. I would say it's more like Lord of the Rings kind of epic.
Yes.
With all the complications, if you can compare a book to a song, that would be it.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really enjoying it. So
me too.
Let's get back in here. Let's grab that opportunity there.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
That sound. Oh my god, how do they do that?
Like, I can't figure out what's more impressive, like, technically, the drumming or the guitars. And even if you pick the guitars, well, which one? Because they're all really impressive, you know? They're all busy doing their own thing in a very impressive way. And I like how the different pieces, they completely change the tone of the guitars. Like, someone else will start playing and the tone will just be completely different, but really, really nice. Love what they're doing.
Yeah, I also enjoyed very much, and I do enjoy the vocals because he does have like really harsh ones, but then alongside you can hear that he does the clean ones also really well.
Yeah, that was unexpected for me there when he started, because after we paused, he started with the clean vocals for the first time. I was like, oh wow, okay.
He's not just doing that thing; he can do everything.
Yeah, and he had some nice highs and some nice sustained notes there. Really liked it.
Cool.
No, it just changed completely.
Dancing spirits calling me, join in the cosmic train. The silence is tempting me now. We are the stars, so winter and stars. We've come from afar beyond time. Forever the fire burns in our hearts. Our world shall never die. With the arms of the wind, we ride till dawn. As the waves of the ocean cry so strong, we wander in the stars until we're gone. Our fate is sealed by eternal silence.
Well done, Finland. Well done.
Yeah. Wow. That was truly epic.
We've done a lot of epic stuff, but that's right up there.
Yeah. If I wasn't watching it with my own eyes, I would say there are about 10 different guitars they were playing. And then when they were singing this like the chorus part, which sounds super easy. I mean, the melody is kind of easy and catchy, but then the technical stuff in the background, it never stops. So the fast drumming still continues there, and it seems, oh yeah, it's accessible. But then when you sort of stop thinking about this main part and think about what's happening in the background, there's still a lot of like technical guitar and drumming.
Yeah, that part where it got into like the clean singing chorus sing along, that was feeling then even more like I don't know if it's power metal or folk metal. Actually, please educate me. What's the difference between the two? But either way, I was just getting that like happy kind of vibe, and like I was in this fantasy story. And
well, there was definitely some folk music in it. Especially there was this part, I think it is called "A Walk into a Dream." If you scroll it down a little bit. No, it's called. Okay, up. Okay, maybe not. Oh, Journey Inside a Dream, I think it was. So this part was more on the folk side, when like this heavy music stopped, and then basically just this ballady singing and clean vocals, and obviously I particularly like that part. But all of it was super impressive.
The contrast, I think, is really good here, because it's 14 minutes or something. So if it was just 14 minutes of one thing or the other, it wouldn't be as special. But I think because they got that span of time to create the song over, and they go into all these different places, and it's heavier and it's lighter and it's sing along and it's darker, and like it's this whole journey that they can go through, and all the contrast just makes everything else more lovely. Like if the whole song had just started out with that little folk piece, maybe I would have been a little bit bored. But as a breakup, as a change of pace from the harsher vocals and the very technical drumming and guitar work, then it's all of a sudden it's beautiful and lovely and happy. Like contrast is just so effective in the song.
And I think it also sort of helps to distinguish between parts of the story that they're telling in the song. So just sort of set the mood for each of the parts of this epic tale that they are trying to tell, to communicate.
Yeah, and for Shayne, stick tricks. Shayne was telling us about some drumming terms, and stick trick was one, but I haven't seen it come up yet. There was plenty stick tricks there.
When he was doing like this,
flicking them around.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks, Shayne.
Drumsticks. Yeah, but did you see the drummer? He was like so soaking wet after at the end of the song.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean he just did such a good job there.
Yeah, awesome. Lyrics.
That's just very, very epic, and I think it's very abstract.
Yes.
So there's definitely some story.
Yeah.
And it does have in my opinion, the mythological sort of background there, which I might not even be familiar with. So I'm guessing that even the son of winter and stars may be referring to something, some concrete mythological creature that I'm not aware of. But like for the purpose of this discussion, I would just call it maybe like some mythical creatures, or unexplained force, or something out of this world, because I think they do have some magical powers, like traveling between the worlds through time. Some spirits that might be, kind and might turn evil and seek revenge. So I think there is like a lyrical character that goes through this journey, because throughout it's a lot of like I in this I pronoun in the song. So it is told from the first from the storyteller.
First person.
Yeah, in the first person. So to me, it seems like at the beginning, this sort of person goes through some kind of struggle or something. So he awakens this dark force, or not, maybe not dark, but just awakens this magical force, and that's why like the second piece says Sons of Winter and Stars Rise. So and even in the first part, Behold the Rain of Stars, it seems like it's a chant or like a prayer or something that he pronounces through the ritual, so that to summon them.
Mm-hmm.
And then once he does, well, actually I was even thinking that maybe those creatures, they're kind of ancestors or something, because the way they were traveling through the stars and talking about the ocean, the wind and stuff like that, for me it reminded like the Viking stories, because they were also travelers and were navigating their way by the stars. So maybe it's just the spirits of their ancestors.
And the strong mythological like influence as well.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, mythology.
Yeah. And then the second part, so it is divided in parts. So first is the Rain of Stars. So I imagine, well, to me it seems like with this Rain of Stars, well, it's also a mythical event which helps to. It almost seems like I'm missing, some kind of a rules of the universe. Like in the Lord of the Rings, you know who those creatures are, and you know what are the rules. When do they appear? What are the enchantments that you need to tell to summon the demons or like the kind creatures.
Yeah, but in this, like, I mean, it's going to be very difficult because it is very abstract, and this feels like it's part of a concept. Mm-hmm. I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a concept album. So you're just like taking a piece in somewhere in a story. I don't even know if it's the beginning or the end or the middle. So to know who the characters are and what's happening. It seems like
it's taken out of where, and you don't know actually what happened in the beginning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we don't really have any context, and it's very difficult to draw an exact story out of it. But just you're going with what you're going.
Yeah.
This is what you can see at face value, so that's fine.
And the second part, called Surrounded by Darkness, it also hints into some previous event which is not described in the song, but that happened, so that provides the motive and the reason why the character seeks this higher power, and presumably something like awful happens, and now he wants to take revenge, and that's why he summons those creatures to help him to basically to achieve his vengeance, because he said that he refers to someone they will never survive, they will die. So I suppose these are some of the enemies that he wants to fight, and then it jumps to the point where it seems like this moment that like he summoned the higher power, but it cost him everything. So that I sacrifice everything just for one moment, and probably that I would think that one moment refers to the moment of vengeance, of revenge, and as far as like from all the art and stories, it seems like moment of vengeance actually doesn't help the person who's suffering, and probably it wasn't. Now
it wasn't worth it in the end.
So he's revaluing it. So it didn't take away the pain, but he threw everything for just this one moment.
Yeah.
And now it seems like he was almost like he sold his soul for this.
For vengeance.
Yeah, because I'm flying through the darkness, the fire casts a shadow on me, and I tear part of my heart for creation of dimensions. So it seems like he almost joined that force. So now he's not like a regular human being anymore. And given that those Sons of Winter and Stars were also flying, and now this person is flying, I would suppose that he had to join them in order to get what he wanted, and like to give up his human life or something. And he also lost, basically he's so old now, thousands of years staring into emptiness. Also in some of the stories there is kind of this curse that you can't die, and it seems like a good deal at the beginning, but then if it's empty in the world, basically you left the world that you knew and you just, it's totally loneliness all the time.
Immortality turns from a gift into a curse.
Yeah, and I think it seems like after all those years of sort of reassessing and reevaluating what happened, this character realizes that it wasn't the good deal, that it wasn't worth it. Yes, and now he's lost.
Who am I?
Exactly, yeah. So after all those years, so it didn't help anything, and now he's part of, I don't know, this dark force or something.
Lost his way.
Yeah, but it seems like there is some kind of a choice, which I don't quite understand, to be honest. So on the crossroads of questions, but it almost also like thinking, almost like he got free from this, and now he's thinking what's next.
Well, yeah, perhaps, I'm preempting you a little bit here, but 3 is going to go into be Journey Inside a Dream, but just before that, so maybe he's at this crossroad, and then now maybe this journey inside a dream is then a vision back to like a memory of how things used to be, and you're probably going in that direction.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not stealing your thunder here. I could see that's where you were going with it. So I just wanted to preface it that maybe this crossroads, and now he's at the crossroads. Then number 3 happens of this this memory, and then that's how he's able to find himself again and take the correct path.
Well, I'm not sure actually how it ends, because so after this journey inside a dream, so basically he realizes that his home, I think, was like back there, and all he sees now is that how his home is inevitably, dying.
And then just as you mentioned, that part 3 was the very, very like cheerful, folky kind of feel. So it completely backs up and emphasizes this particular part of the story where it's this happy, like in my mind I'm almost thinking to like Lord of the Rings, where they like show back to the happy times in Hobbiton or whatever it's called, where the hobbits are thinking back to their good times there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that was a totally different mood in that story, musically also. And then it moves to the 4th part, but the 4th part seems to be like a lot of repeat of this, like an anthem of the Sons of Winter and Stars.
Perhaps that's like, so if 3 is this happy flashback, 4 felt a lot like they were all together, like they were singing cleanly along together, like they were brothers in arms, they were unified in their cause. So and it was almost like motivating, like the will of man to succeed. So if 3 is the flashback to the memory of this is where I need to be, perhaps 4 is the summoning of the courage to this is what we're going to do it now. This is our goal. We're going to achieve it, and this is us forcing it through together. Ignoring what the actual words say, just like the feeling of the music of that piece.
Yeah, I mean because there was so much chorus in this. That's not what I wanted to say. The choir. There were a lot of pieces sung by 3 people, I think, and with addition to the choir in the background. So it did feel like it's like a legion of people, like this force.
Everyone together.
Yeah, exactly. But then there are those lines, like the energy flows in like a river of stars, and I'm surrounded by the circle of fire, but eternal ice has frozen my heart. So maybe he just he completely lost himself in this, and joined the power and sort of resigned all his human feelings or something.
Okay, so you're going completely the other way on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's cheerful, you know.
Could be somber.
Well, maybe it is like one of the ways. So he was at the crossroads, right? And he knows that like his land is basically dying, and maybe one of the options is just to join this force and to be a force for good or something like that. But for that you have to, you know, give up also those memories and dreams, and you know, accept that you have to stop feeling anymore or something like that. I don't know. But to me this line seems quite you know, a sad one. I'm surrounded by the circle, but eternal ice has frozen my heart.
Yeah, lost in the pathways of time. But now the time has come for us. So perhaps this is the change. Yeah, because then there's a break. There's a new stanza, and then it goes on to we are the sons of winter and stars, and I'm guessing that would have been when they were all together as well. So perhaps that was the little bit of a low moment before pulling out of it.
Yeah, and if we look at the lines before, I kind of ignored them, but it's talking about fate and finding way, and then just embracing the stars, living life and death meaningless. So I think it also signifies like this detachment of the old from the old life and embracing this new way of being part of the sounds of winters and stars.
I guess I'm trying hard to find the happy ending here, just because
it's because the music was,
exactly.
was so like, exciting.
It was so happy metal, as they said, you know, it was so jovial. So, and it seems like a fairy tale. A fairy tale needs a happy ending, you know.
Well, but maybe, you know, like those stars of winters and suns, they were not actually shown like, you know, bad guys in the beginning. So it was the person who summoned them and like used them for some purpose. But maybe they can be a force for good, you know. Okay, I'm talking more like Star Wars language. Force for good and force for bad.
The dark side.
Yeah, well, you know, I always liked Darth Vader and felt sorry for him.
You did. Yeah. You're the biggest Darth Vader apologist.
Yeah, I think they all were very, very unfair to him. And he was just trying to save his family.
Okay. Very, very cool. Very, very good effort, given that we have no context. I don't think I'd be able to craft a sufficiently different story to warrant going through my own one again. But I guess I just wanted to pick up some of the imagery and some of the things that they're doing here, or some of the other possible ideas that I had was they might be personifying something, because it all is I, right? And well, we. But I'm wondering if it's not some sort of abstract idea or some inanimate object that's busy being personified. I don't know what. I have no context to try and even guess what it could be. But it was just one of the ideas I was having of what they might be doing with this. The other thing is, okay, so clearly there's a lot of space imagery, possibly like time as well. So, you know, maybe space and time obviously together, some sort of travel in that world. But there was sort of, I was also getting, now I mean it's Finland, but this like winter Finland weather. I was wondering if there's some sort of connection to the weather here as well, if there's some weather phenomenon being referred to, maybe even the personification of weather, or the personification of some sort of cosmic happening.
Yeah, actually I could agree with that, especially in the first 4 lines. When it was saying falling from the dark and life and death became unbound. So to me it seemed that that it's some kind of like different mythology that explains the creation of the world differently. So to me, like this point, and life and death became unbound, this is the creation of our world basically.
Yeah, and then so that could be the tie between weather, space, time, and mythology and like creation. I mean, it could be anything, but there's enough commonality there that there might be a link.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, really enjoyable. Great suggestion, Jan. Never doubted you.
Yeah, I think I even didn't expect it to be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be so, complicated and enjoyable in so many changes and everything.
And enjoyable in different ways. Like it's intellectually enjoyable. It's like the feeling is enjoyable. Even just like even if you switch off your brain and you just feel what the music is doing and the different paths that it goes and the happiness and the soulfulness and the guitar tones. It's a satisfying song in many different ways. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I'm curious, like, if you heard something like this before we started this channel, do you think you would have just freaked out and have no?
Yeah, I don't think I would appreciate those harsh vocals. Yeah, I think I'm now more resilient.
Resilient. Wow.
More accepting. What's the correct word?
I suppose just accustomed.
Yeah.
But
so I can accept and appreciate the value.
But his in particular, I think, are at a very nice level for where you are now in your metal journey. Because, like, yes, it's harsh. It's got some character. There's some emotion and feeling and grit to it. But you can still distinctly hear what he's saying. And
yeah, it's not completely inaudible. Yes.
Okay. Well, hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. And we'll see you again soon.
Thank you for watching.